Good morning. Good morning. We begin our time together in song with Morning Has Come by Jason Shelton. Please make sure your microphone is muted and sing along energetically to welcome in this new day we've received.
Morning has come, arise and greet the day. Dance with joy and sing a song of gladness. The light of hope here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home. A new day dawns, once more a gift is given. Wonder fills this moment shared together. The light of peace here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home. Open our eyes to see that life abounds. Open hearts to welcome it among us. The light of love here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home.
Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Gwinnett. My name is Jan Taddeo. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. It is my great joy and tremendous privilege to serve our faith as the minister of this congregation. I am so glad we can be together in this way or any way on this beautiful morning that we've been given. If you have a chalice at home that you would like to light in a few minutes, please go get it while I offer our words of welcome. We arrive from many places and many life experiences as we gather in this cherished space to recall our true selves, reflect on the meaning of our lives, and explore questions of ultimacy together. If you are here for the first time or the 1,000th time, you are welcome here. If you believe in many gods, a god or goddess or no gods, or you're just not sure, like many of us, you are welcome here. If you are gay, straight, bisexual, asexual, pansexual, transgender, cisgender, still trying to figure it out, you are welcome here. If you're covered in tattoos or you're a blank canvas, you are welcome here. If you shout amen after every paragraph or song, or if you prefer to sit with us quietly, you are welcome here. If you arrive here sober, addicted, or somewhere on that healing path, you are welcome here. If you are grieving, or if you are celebrating, you are welcome here. Your whole self, all that you were, all that you are, all that you long to be, is welcome here. And you are just where you should be, in a room full of compassionate and thoughtful Unitarian Universalists ready to meet you where you are. You are home. And if this is your first time with us, I do hope that this will indeed become your spiritual home, that you will find that here. We are becoming a radically welcoming sanctuary in a green space. We foster spiritual growth as we joyfully nurture connections and community within our walls and beyond. If this is your first time here, I encourage you to join us several times to experience the full flavor of this congregation and this faith tradition. And please come and be curious and courageous and compassionate with us. welcome home. Now I invite us to take a deep breath and enter more fully into this precious, precious time we've set aside to be together this morning, this week. Bring every molecule of your being here, now. And as the sound vibrates through us and around us, let us be reminded how deeply, profoundly, inextricably interconnected we are with one another, with all beings and life on this planet, and with all the stars in the cosmos. We are one. Our opening words, "Be still with me and enter," were written by Reverend Marta I. Valentin. Be still with me and enter into the crescent fold of my arm as I gather you to this time and space. Wind your thoughts like a river toward the center of who we are this morning as one body and out among others in the world. Be still with me and enter into this celebration of resilience and resurrection. For we are vessels eternally rising out of the water, alive with a purpose and strength unknown to us. And now if your chalices are ready, we'll light those now. And I offer these words from Reverend Rebecca Parker, Winter Solstice. Perhaps for a moment, the typewriters will stop clicking, the wheels stop rolling, the computers desist from computing, and a hush will fall over the city. For an instant, in the stillness, the chiming of the celestial spheres will be heard as Earth hangs poised in the crystalline darkness and then gracefully tilts. Let there be a season when holiness is heard and the splendor of living is revealed. Stunned to stillness by beauty, we remember who we are and why we are here. There are inexplicable mysteries. We are not alone. In the universe, there moves a wild one whose gestures alter Earth's axis toward love. In the immense darkness, everything spins with joy. The cosmos enfolds us. We are caught in a web of stars, cradled in a swaying embrace, rocked by the holy night, babes of the universe. Let this be the time we wake to life, like spring wakes in the moment of winter solstice. And now we sing together the winter solstice chant as I light the 13 candles representing the 13 moons of the year on our solstice chalice.
Children of the earth, we have come to sing to each other, sister to brother, sons of a mother earth. Children of the earth, autumn soon will breathe God's breath, and when will the death bear witness to winter's
And now is the time for our Wonder Box. Are you wondering what's in the Wonder Box? Well, wonder no longer. We're going to open it. Maybe. Here we go. Ah. Hopefully you all recognize what this is. I'll bring it a little closer. This is a tin can with lots of little holes punched in them by a fabulous team of volunteers who punched holes in tin cans. And we delivered these to all the households in mid-November. So hopefully you have one around your house, and hopefully you have this lovely little UUCG candle that goes in it. And when you put that in there, you have this luminary that lights up all these little stars that make the chalice. A little hard to see here because there's a lot of light in this room. But when it's darker, it will glow beautifully. So that brings me to our story, The Rebirth of the Sun by Starhawk. This was in the book Circle Round, edited by Diane Baker and Ann Hill. Circle round and I'll tell you a story about when the sun was born again. It was the middle of winter, and the sun had grown very old. All year long the sun had worked very hard, rising and setting, day after day. All year long, the sun had fed everybody on earth, shining and shining, giving energy to the trees and the flowers and the grasses so they could grow and feed the animals and birds and insects and people. All year, the sun's gravity held tight to the spinning ball of earth and the twirling ball of the moon and the 8 other whirling planets as they traveled around and around and around until the poor sun was dizzy watching it all. Now the poor tired sun could barely make it up in the morning, and after a very short time needed to sleep again. I get this. So the days grew shorter and the nights grew longer until the day was so short it was hardly worth getting up for. Night felt sorry for the sun. "Come to my arms and rest, child," she said. "After all, I am your mother. You were born out of my darkness billions of years ago, and you will return to me when all things end. Let me cradle you now as I shelter every galaxy and star in the universe." So night wrapped her great arms around the sun, and the night was very long indeed. "Why does the dark go on so long?" asked children all over the earth. "Won't the sun ever come back?" "The sun is very tired," the old one said. "But maybe if you children say thank you for all the things the sun does for us, the light may return in the morning." The children sang songs to the sun. They thought about all the things the sun gave them. And maybe you could take a moment to think of all the things the sun gives us. Just consider all that is available. And these children in the story said, "Thank you for growing the lettuces and the corn and the rice and the wheat. Thank you for growing the trees of the forest and the seaweed in the oceans and the krill that feeds the whales. Thank you for stirring the air and making winds that bring rain." Every time a child said thank you, the sun began to feel a little warmer, a little brighter. Wrapped safely in the arms of night, the sun grew younger and younger. At last, the children had to go to bed. We will stay up and wait for the sun to rise again," the old one said. "Can't we stay up too?" the children asked. "Well, you can try, but you will get too sleepy," the old one said. "But you can each light a candle, because all fire is a spark of the sun's fire. Put your candle in a very safe space and let it keep vigil for you as you sleep and dream of sunrise." So the children lit their candles and put them in very safe places, and each flame was a little spark of the sun's fire. And the sun peeped out from between the arms of night and saw all the little fires and began to feel warmer and brighter and younger still. Early in the morning, the old ones woke the children. Together they climbed the high hill, faced to the east, the direction of sunrise. They sang songs to the sun and ran around trying to keep warm. They waited and waited to see what dawn would bring. The sky began to turn from black to indigo to blue, and slowly the sky grew light. A golden glow crept over the horizon. Night opened her great arms, and in a burst of brightness the sun appeared, new and strong and shining. For in the long night the sun had rested well and grown young from the songs and the thanks of the children, young as a brand new baby born out of night once more. Everybody cheered and the children jumped up and down. The sun has returned, the sun is reborn, the people cried, and they danced and sang to celebrate the birth of a new day, and then went home to breakfast. Well, I wanted to share with you a blog I wrote for our Words of Wisdom blog on December 13th, 2015, 5 years ago. Here's what I wrote. And it's interesting how much it still rings true today. While there are things that make me crazy at Christmas time, like traffic and consumerism, there is much that I do like about this season, not the least of which is all the colorful, creative, and sometimes subtle light displays that permeate the neighborhoods. While I appreciate this dark season, it can also feel a bit oppressive at times. The holiday lights lift my spirit. And when the lights come down, it is always too soon for me. And this is one reason why we used to leave our Christmas tree up all year, but I did take it down a couple years ago. But we still leave strings of lights on our porch year-round, shining brightly in the night. Holiday lights remind me of the many ways light, especially candlelight, is held in reverence by people of many faiths, including Unitarian Universalism. I need only to light a candle and to feel that I've created a sacred space. A candle placed in a chalice on top of a beautiful cloth quickly becomes a sacred altar. And some objects that hold emotional value, a seashell found on a long walk on the beach with my beloved, or a rock discovered while hiking a trail with a dear friend, and the candlelight then illuminates much that is holy in my life: family, friends, connection, love. Creating sacred space in a corner of a room reminds me to create sacred space in a corner of my heart, to light a candle, if you will, on the altar of my soul. Creating sacred space externally reminds me to keep my internal light stoked so it remains strong enough to endure difficult times. The bad news that seems never ending, and the personal losses that can too easily overwhelm. I keep my own internal fire burning strong and affirm and encourage the light in those around me, because the world needs people who are burning with compassion, joy, hope, and love. So I wonder, how do you keep your fire burning? How do you let your light shine? What spiritual practices do you have in place to stoke your fire when it needs a boost? How are you affirming the light within those around you? So this idea of the light within darkness, and how do we keep our internal light burning? How do we affirm the light within others? Is the topic for this time, this winter solstice time, when we look at the dark and the light. Something we ought to be doing more at summer solstice too, or I should be doing more at summer solstice, because I know some of you do that. But what does this even mean, this internal light, this concept of the fire within, or the light within? I think it has a lot to do with just a lightness of being. Life can become very heavy and overwhelming, and we can feel the weight of the challenges and the grief. So, how do we bring ourselves back? Before I go too far into that, I also want to just talk a little bit about the cultural messages of light and dark. I think many of us who are born and raised in the United States have experienced this concept in our culture, in the media, that dark is evil and light is good, or white is good and black is evil. And that sets us up for some pretty difficult ways of being in the world. Remember the old Westerns, and maybe even current Westerns? Do they still make Westerns? I don't know. But in the Westerns, the person with the white hat was the good guy, and the person with the black hat was the bad guy. And this couldn't help but create some biases in us, that when we see people with different skin tones, that might interpret also as good or evil. So that's something I just want to name, because we give darkness a bad name. And I think that's a cultural, a part of our cultural upbringing in this country, and maybe in other places in the world. This is the place I know. It also matters about where you are, where you live. There are places around the world where there's light around the equator most of the day. And then you have places, the far north and far south, where they might get less than 4 hours of light during the winter, or maybe even less than that. So maybe if you grow up in a place like that, the dark doesn't bother you so much. But the darkness of night is certainly something to be aware of, that you have to be a little bit careful, because it's harder to see, but we can train ourselves to see in the night. I know when I went backpacking a few years ago on the Appalachian Trail, and I'd have to get up in the middle of the night sometimes and take a walk to the latrine. I'd have my flashlight with me, but I would stop and pause and turn the light out and just listen and look and feel what was described in that story as night's embrace. It was lovely. Then I turned my torch back on to find the loo. This is, I think, an important thing to think about our relationship with darkness, so that we can understand lightness better. What I also love in that story is that lightness was increased, the sun was made younger by the gratitude of the children. And I know that when I offer or receive gratitude, affirmation, acknowledgement, I can see when I offer that to others that they light up. You can see a shift in their whole aura. And I expect that happens for me when I receive it too. I think it's important to offer that gratitude, that affirmation, that acknowledgement to the people in our lives as often as we can, and to do it sincerely and with love, because that increases our light and it increases their light. Another piece about darkness I wanted to explore was, I was thinking about the place where we first called home, inside the womb. I am certain that is a dark place. Our whole bodies are dark inside, right? And that's all good. There's lots of good stuff happening in our bodies. We need that dark space for those things to happen. I think about this baby growing, developing in that embrace of darkness. And I think about the shock of coming out to all that light and all that clear sound from the muffled sounds they were hearing before. What a shock. What a new experience. So how do we practice this? How do we practice getting in touch with these? And in addition to offering gratitude where we can, I offer another practice that I've been working with, and it's just a practice to pause. So the alliterative is helpful. Practice pausing. If you're rushing around through your day, you're just going from one thing to another, if you can just remind yourself or just notice for a moment to just stop, be still, take a breath, take stock. How are you feeling inside? What's going on? Can you bring stillness into that space within? I also like to use that time to think about the vastness above me. Actually, I start with the earth. I get grounded in the earth. I think about not just the earth right here below my house and my yard, but I can actually envision the whole earth under me, holding me, strong and steady. And then I feel that string lifting me up to the heavens, the sky, the cosmos, however you want to name it. I can envision the vastness of it, the overwhelming vastness of it. And I get a sense of just how tiny I am. And I don't allow that tininess to make me feel small or insignificant, but rather to feel kind of strong and empowered and confident that maybe there are many things that I can do right here and now. Maybe I have the capacity to share my light, to inspire others, to spark joy in others, to relieve some of the pain and the suffering of others. That being caught in this web of stars and rocked by the holy night is a powerful place to be. That we are all stardust says, I'm a part of this. I'm connected to you. I'm connected to you and you and you and you and all of you. And I'm connected to that tree and that bush and that bird that are outside my window. And I'm connected to all those stars. And so I have an obligation in that space of connection to share that light, to share that goodness, to share what is mine to share. I really believe that in discovering the light in our own hearts, we can discover light in others. That when we are stunned to stillness by the beauty, we remember who we are and why we are here. And one of those things, one of those reasons we're here, I truly believe, is to make it easier for others to discover the light within themselves.
In the bleak midwinter, frosty wind made moan. Earth stood hard as iron, water like a stone. Snow had fallen, snow on snow, snow on snow. In the bleak midwinter, long ago, Christ, a homeless stranger, so the Gospels say, cradled in a manger and a bed of hay. In the bleak midwinter, stable place sufficed, Mary and her baby, Jesus Christ. its wonder words can never tell. In the bleak midwinter, in this world of pain, where hearts are open, love is born again.
Thank you. What we often refer to as darkness in ourselves and others is the metaphorical darkness that feels like a bleak midwinter, of fear, of unending sadness, of rage, disappointment, remorse, grief, shame, loss. And it can be physical pain as well. This darkness can oppress and depress. It can make us feel like there's little light in our life. I invite us to close our eyes and just let any of these thoughts or feelings that we have at this moment just be. Letting go of judgment as best that we can. And whatever we feel is what is right for us now and throughout the rest of this practice. As we become aware of these thoughts and emotions, we may notice that there also are sensations in our bodies. Like it may feel hot or cool, tight, numb, it can be sharp, dull. It may just be a sense of fatigue, heaviness. And as we notice these sensations, let's focus on them. Letting these thoughts and emotions find them in our bodies and focusing on them. Maybe they have particular shapes or have certain boundaries around them. Maybe they're right in our face in the foreground, or maybe we barely have noticed them until we started concentrating. So just feel around in your body. Where are these places? And as we're doing this, let's begin to notice our breath as it enters into that fertile darkness that Reverend Jan talked about in our bodies. And this breath fills us up and then leaves again. And it's okay if while we're breathing, maybe we make sounds. Maybe in our exhaling, it starts to feel like sighing. Anything that we feel is what's right for us in this moment. And as we're doing this and focusing on this, we may even begin to feel our bodies relax a little bit or a lot. So let's breathe into that darkness below, into the earth, as Reverend Jan was speaking of it, that fertile darkness. So when we inhale, we reach down into the earth. And as we exhale, it pulls the energies of the dark earth up into our bodies, filling us with feelings and sensations. Let's do this a few times. And then let's feel our breath from the deep mystery that created the cosmos up into that darkness beyond comprehension, the mother darkness that brought everything into existence, including our sun, and the sun that's translated into our plants here on earth that we then feed on directly or indirectly. So reaching up with the in-breath to the mystery above. And as we exhale, just feel it falling down around us and in us, and filling us with that mysterious darkness. And then let's reach out with our breath all around us in every direction and feel the invisible energies, the things that we cannot see. Maybe it's something warm or cool. Maybe it's light spectrums that we cannot see. Sound waves, oxygen emanating from all the plants that surround us wherever we are. And just combine that with the reaching up and down, kind of all at the same time, breathing in and we reach out. And as we exhale, let it all come back and focus in our hearts. And this is just as we're breathing in and out, literally our hearts are pumping the oxygen and other gases into every cell of our body. So let's just feel reaching out and letting it fall back into our hearts, the rest of our bodies. Let's find our heartbeat. We may find it in our chest and feel it there, or in our throats, or we may take our pulse in our wrist. We may even feel it pumping as we get quieter and more silent throughout our bodies. Just finding our heartbeat and pulse. As we continue breathing and feeling our hearts beat, with each breath, let's begin to imagine that flame burning in our hearts, like maybe you picture it as a torch or a candle, or even as a small sun. Notice its warmth, its beauty, and its illumination. The flame grows with every breath in and out, and the light grows stronger and begins shining throughout our thoughts, our feelings, and our entire bodies. We are able now to share this warming and compassionate light to all the places where we feel our pain, our sorrow, our grief, our loss, our loneliness, our shame, our guilt, our fear, or even the disliking or hating of ourselves and others. Let this light embrace and caress all these parts of us. We are able to continue to grow the light of awareness and flame of love, sun of love, torch of love, as it shines into our minds, souls, and bodies. We allow and affirm all our painful feelings, not seeking to erase them, but embracing them with this love, warmth, and illumination. Feeling our hearts beating, breathing easily in and out, shining this light everywhere. what we are experiencing as we do this is the light of the world. It's that invisible sun that's within us and is at the heart of the mystery of darkness, to be born and born again. And now we let this light continue to shine, shining forth in our lives through our actions, through our pleasures, through our joys, and even through our pain. And while carrying the light with us, let's begin now to return in a more normal state of consciousness. We want to stretch, open our eyes if they're closed, wiggle our fingers or toes. You may want to kind of move around gently. Maybe stamp our feet a little bit. Maybe take a drink of water or some other beverage. And just look around us with our new eyes and notice how it is different and what is the light that we have brought with us. Because we are also the light of the world. We are the sun of rightness. So let us continue to shine. May it be so.
And now let us remember the goodness within each of us, singing together How Could Anyone by Libby Roderick. Thank you, Daniel, for the lovely meditation. It was very grounding. Our congregation is committed to creating a more compassionate world, and to this end, each quarter we split our plate collection with an organization selected by our Give Away the Plate committee out of those that were nominated by people in the congregation. Our fourth quarter plate recipient is New Life Technology Group. Located in Alpharetta, Georgia, the mission of the New Life Technology Group is to help our planet by reducing e-waste and support our community through their Computers for Kids program. They do this by recycling, refurbishing, and redistributing electronic waste. They work with businesses, schools, faith communities, nonprofits, and neighborhoods to help keep electronics out of landfills and donate them back to the community. Through the power of our donations, they are able to transform our community, the world around us, towards a cleaner, greener, and more hopeful future. Our plate contributions also support the shared ministry of this congregation, so I ask that you please give generously to support the work of this important ministry in our wider community, as well as the vision and mission of our congregation. As we listen to a recording of our pianist, Brian Bishop, with Barbara Stanke on flute, playing Hazelnut Crunch by Paul Harris, You will see on the screen ways to contribute to our offering via PayPal, Venmo, or by mailing a check payable to UUCG to the address shown. If you are worshiping with us for the first time, please know that your presence here today with us is a generous gift to this congregation, and you may choose to let the plate pass if you so like. The offering will now be most gratefully received. May the generous gifts we receive this week move us towards realizing our vision of a more connected and compassionate world. I was just thinking, listening to that great music, how grateful I am for Brian and Barbara and the music and our choir and so many people. I'm grateful to Daniel again for offering the meditation for our service. I think this time of our offering is a great time for all of us to contemplate what we're grateful for. I'm grateful for all the people who made all the bags for the holiday gifts bags and all the cans for the luminaries and people who helped to put the bags together and all of that. So, and people who delivered the bags. Oh my gosh, it was such a wonderful community effort to make that happen. I'm grateful to Christiana for managing the Zoom room during the service and for leading our faith development program before the service, and for Russ Taddeo for running video and sound and keeping me on track as best he can. Now is the time for our call to connection. Please seek ways to connect between Sundays. It's so important, you know, and I've lost my clicker. Oh, here it is. Need my clicker. Okay. If you are with us for the first time, please consider texting the word welcoming to the number shown there and share with us your name, your address, your phone number, and we will not bother you, but we will send you a few texts and emails for to help guide you in connecting with us and help you to learn more about our congregation. So please text welcoming to that number. We won't overwhelm you, but we will send you a little gift in the mail, and we will have one person may call you to ask how you're doing and how the service was. Otherwise, a few texts, a few emails. Other ways to get connected, if you're new, is to check out our e-news. Each week we send out a message with information about what's happening. You can sign up for that by sending an email to our administrator at info@uucg.org. You can also go to our website and look at what's going on there. You can go to our Facebook page, and sometimes only things that are very public are posted there. Also on our website, we have a register for events button that tells you of some of the things that are happening and also how you can sign up to take part in those things. If you're new and you would like to learn more about this congregation and about Unitarian Universalism, we invite you today to join us at 12:30 for the UU 101 Visitor Orientation. And if you've already attended that and you've been coming for some time and want to learn more about the path to membership, join me at 12:30 for our UU 102 program. Both of these programs are being revised. We're going to look at a whole new way of doing this, and we're meeting in January to get that set up. So you'll probably see that appear in late February, early March, early spring sometime. And now a reminder that we have our Christmas Eve service this Thursday at 7, and that we have put up a Christmas tree in the front of the building. It's in a pot. It will get planted after January 1st. Hang bird-friendly treats on our trees through January 1st. Just bring them on. The pine cones with the peanut butter and nuts or whatever you got. You probably have some ideas. You can find them online. and we'll fill it up with yarn and things they can put in their nest, things like that, and make it look beautiful for the holiday. Next Sunday, we're going on a field trip to the Auburn UU Fellowship in Auburn, Alabama. That service is being held at 11 o'clock Eastern Time, 10 o'clock Central. All our field trips going forward will always be at 11 o'clock. So even if it's being hosted in California, I will make sure it's a service that starts at 11 o'clock our time. This particular service will be led by their recently hired Minister of Religious Exploration called A Kind Intention. And the following Sunday on January 3rd, you'll go to New York, and hopefully they'll have buried out from the snow by then. Fourth Universalist Society, the Reverend Schuyler Vogel will be leading that service along with his religious educator. And it will be a question box service. And you'll see in the announcements a way, if you wanted to pose a question to the minister or the religious educator, you could send a question, and they may choose it as one of the ones to answer. Also, food, if you want to be of service, we have food collections on the first Sunday of every month from 2 to 4. The next one is on January 3rd. That's a current list of items that they need. As the January 3rd date gets closer, you might want to look at their website and see if it's changed, but they can use anything you bring, really. It's all needed. Another way to help is by supporting the students and parents of Corley Elementary School with gift cards. They do not have a PTA at Corley Elementary, so we've been a big part of filling the needs that a PTA offers. We are collecting money through today, so please today, if you haven't contributed yet, please send a check today, send a contribution through Venmo or PayPal, and be sure to say Corley gift cards in the memo or the note space for those gifts. Thank you so much. And then our Corley liaisons will buy the gift cards. And if you already sent in gift cards, we have them, and that will get added to the gifts, the collection. Thank you. Also, it's still important to donate platelets. I needed to update this slide, but I didn't get there yet. So Team Terry is still needed. Terry is home, and he's not currently receiving platelets, but at some point in the future, he will need to go through another round of chemo, and we'll need the platelets. So it's important that we keep that platelet bank full. So I'll be there next Monday donating again. Hope to see some of you there. Keep posting your pictures. This is a selection of some of the ones I've been able to capture of our folks delivering platelets. And now also we have a religious exploration program for families with elementary school age children. If you haven't yet registered for this, please do. We do not have access to any programs with children without registering in advance. That's very important for security for our young people. They meet on Zoom at 12:30 today. There'll be no program next week, and I believe it will resume on January 3rd. As the same with our adult program, typically at 10 o'clock on Sunday mornings, won't be happening next Sunday, but will be happening on January 3rd when we start our new monthly theme, Imagination. I want to remind you that our small group ministry is open. This is a great way if you're brand new to the congregation or if you've been coming for a long time. Either way and anywhere in between, it's 8 to 10 people who gather twice a month for 2 hours to just have deeper discussions about the themes, our monthly themes, and they're rich and they build deep connections and friendships. So this is a way. We typically have about 40 people involved in these. So please sign up. I think we're up to about 12 people so far, so there's still some slots left. Please sign up as soon as possible so we know what groups are going to be filled and where we need our leaders. Thank you. Other ways to connect, Yarns from the Heart is continuing, and it will meet again on January 6th. Virtual Happy Hour will not meet on Christmas Eve this week, but it will meet on New Year's Eve. And what better way to bring in the new year than with your UUCG friends at the happy hour on the 31st. So join them then. And then other ways of connecting, our Covenant Choir. You know, we have like 33 people on our choir list, and we're getting about 6 people in our check-in. So come and join us on Tuesday nights. We have good conversations, and we learn about what new virtual choir programs we'll be exploring. And then Belief Explorers is on the second Sundays, and Exploring Tarot with Cherie will happen today at 4 o'clock. Wait, stop. Is that a Zoom bomber? Is it Santa Claus? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. It's not him. No. No, we need Christmas. No. Pretending to be Santa. That's not Santa. I know who that is. Who is that? Show yourself.
Fooled you, didn't I? Well, that's because I had to come all the way down from Mount Crumpet because you keep making all that noise. Well, stop it. Christmas isn't even until Friday. Oh, here's a wonderful, awful idea. How about if you come and join the Christmas Eve service Thursday at 7 p.m. And you can bring all that fa-la-la-la-la-la. Oh, and don't forget to bring a candle because somebody stole the Christmas light. But until then, you can just take all that holiday cheer and stuff it in your stocking, buddy. But if you just can't wait, you just can't wait until Thursday, well, you of Gwinnett will have a video loop of all the little people singing their happy little songs, and you can check that out. And also, you can go to the website and look at the resources that the Faith Development has put up there with all of the holidays from around the world. Oh, yes, that is on their website. I wonder if it includes a recipe for a roast beast. I might have to check that out myself. Now, if you will excuse me, I have to go do some exercises for my heart. I'm trying to shrink a few sizes for the holidays. On, Max! Come, Max! Max!
That Grinch visit wasn't as terrible as I thought it might be. Thank you, Grinch, for reminding us about the Christmas Eve service on Thursday and to bring your candles that were in your holiday bag with the little drip guards. And now let us rise in spirit as we say together the words we say to extinguish our chalice, followed by our closing song, Blue Boat Home, words by Peter Mayer, music by Roland Hugh Pritchard. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are indeed together again.
Universe is the ocean,
close with these words from Sandra Fees, breathed into the world. Whoever you are, wherever you go, may you know the stillness of winter and the call to love. May you see the moon silvering the night sky, and let the dark of midnight plunge you into your truest self and fling you back out again to a world in need of who you are. May there be the familiar carols you know by heart and new melodies to set you free. May there be feasting and frolicking, kindness and wonderment, and may there be wise people to follow a star in the east and a child to teach us to love, and enough magic to let the imagination go wild, to let Christmas arrive with its enchantments, with its glitter, glow, and gold, to let what wants to be born break through. May the presence of the holy crowd out fear, hate, and worry, and proclaim in this moment that peace and goodwill might yet be breathed into the world, and a vow that we too can give birth to love wherever we go, wherever we are. Our service has ended, and now our service to one another and our wider communities begins. Be well, beloveds. If you choose to travel, please take very, very good precautions. You are each so precious, and your beloveds are so precious. See you on Christmas Eve, and then again on January 10th.